Vanakkam. Hi everyone. Fivecost.com is the smallest company which initiated from last year August in Tamil the conference called Samuhathukku Sol, and in English that means non-Tamil. In this last August, we have initiated the non-Tamil, that's the English medium conference in Teltu Society, in which we will cover kindness and positive thinking from all over the fields. Like we are getting the speakers with the kind from all over the fields, so you can get the information regarding how the kindness and positive thinking can be implemented, or it can be experienced while you are working or while you are seeing something. So in this regard, in our special guest, as well as for your kind information, this conference is fully free. There's no need to pay anything in our audience point of view, and all the information are given by the experts or the who are expertise in their levels. So we would like to welcome our respected speaker. We would like to welcome our respected speaker, who is the guest keynote speaker in the Business Athlete company, Mr. Bradley Emerson. We would like to welcome him to deliver his speech.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's very interesting you're talking about kindness, particularly when the world is fighting with each other. It's very interesting. Why is man referred to as mankind? Why are we referred to as mankind? Because man or woman has to be kind. But what is kindness? It has been given in various religious explanations in the form of the Buddha and the talk of the kindness of the Christ and the Gandhi, Mother Teresa, is all about compassionate and care. But my conversation today with you is to how kind you are to yourself. You can't be you can't show kindness to somebody else when you're not kind to yourself. How comfortable are you with yourself? You can't be comfortable with the environment or anybody else if you're not comfortable with you. So there are a lot of theories about person one and person two in a human being. The man inside or woman inside and the man outside. So often we don't show kindness to each other. My person one, my person two does not show kindness to each other. Why is it important? We are in a society, be it work, we have to work with people, be it family, we have to engage with family. Society, we have to engage with society. In engaging with society, how do we show up? How do we come up? What do people see when you come? Do they see energy when you come? Do you give more energy to every conversation you have with people than you take away? Every conversation creates energy. It can be positive, it can be negative. But how much do you give as positive energy before you go away? How do you show up in terms of your health? How do you show up in terms of your creativity? How do you show up in terms of your authenticity? What is authenticity? Being the true person that you are inside is the one that is coming outside. If you don't bring that person outside, the other person on the others with you on the other side, one or two or many people, they always end up with the confusion. How many times have we said, that's not me? How many times have we said, I don't know where this came from? Because we have a confusion between our true self and our self outside. So why is kindness important? It settles you. It brings a lot of positive energy when you're kind to yourself. Then you can be kind to others. There is no anxiety when you're kind to somebody else. There is no stress when you're kind to somebody else. So kindness, as I said, is mankind. That's why I use the word mankind, because man is kind. I'll give you a small story. It's a very interesting story that talks about kindness. There was a battle between two armies, and one soldier confronts the other soldier. And in a one-to-one confrontation, he shoots this guy down. Otherwise, he would have got shot. So as he fell, the enemy reached out to this man who shot him and said, he gave him a piece of paper and said, send this to my mother. So it was a letter to the mother. His blood-stained hand, he took this letter, shivering, and went back to his barracks. His head was so confused. Here is someone who he shot, and while he was falling to his death, he trusts this man and reaches out to him and says, please mail this letter to my mother. How would you feel when you just shot somebody and you have to send a letter to his mother? So he takes his letter to his room. He keeps looking at it. He can't sleep. He keeps thinking of this soldier's face who fell. Same age, young fellows, 20, 25. And eventually he said, at least I can post this to this lady. And somehow he went and dispatches a letter and feels some part of the burden was gone. And he wanted to forget it. He went back with his life. More battles, more people being killed. People are fighting. Few days passed, and when he was in the barrack, somebody knocks on the door and hands over a letter to him. He opens it out. It comes with a stamp from the enemy side. He opens the letter with shivering hands. And this letter, supposed to be written by the mother of the soldier who died, in reply to the letter. Now, the letter read, thank you for posting my son's letter. If you didn't kill him, he would have. And another mother would have lost a son. And we are fighting these battles because we don't have the wisdom to resolve our differences in a different way. So please take care and God bless you. Now, take this for kindness. How many of us can relate to this? The moment we don't agree, we break away and we create something new. Take religion, take Christianity. How many different dimensions of Christianity is there? The moment one believers of faith have a different view, they break away and create another. I remember this line, we are fighting these wars because we don't have the wisdom to resolve our differences otherwise. That is why we have chaos in this world. Because we have no respect to humanity. Because we are not kind. If you have the kindness of that mother who tells his boy to be safe and asks for God's blessing, you can't beat that kindness. Why is it important? It's not worth the fight. I have had arguments, I had my fights in my career, and I look back. Now you realize you could have done things differently, in a more kind, human way. How many times you would have shouted at our children, and when you're driving home to work, you feel bad about it. We could have shown kindness. Do we show kindness to our children? Forget about anything else. My first question, how kind are you to yourself? That is humanity that you will bring up. That is humanity that you're willing to listen to somebody. That is humanity where you're willing to take another person's perspective. You can always have a different view. So let me finish off with another little story. There is a journalist, a Muslim lady called Dia Khan. Dia Khan was targeted by the white supremacist. So much so, in UK, Dia was told to stay away from windows so that she could not be assassinated. But what Dia did, it's available on documentary, you can see this. Check that out. She went and met the white supremacist. She went to the United States with the cameras and went and met them. And in a one-to-one in conversation, she asked them, am I your enemy? Why do you want me out of the surface of the earth? Am I your enemy? How can you be an enemy of someone who don't even know? And when you ask that question and you're willing to listen to their perspective, they begin to realize that their belief and the reality are different. And when they can't reconcile between their beliefs and their reality, they convert. So when the conversation went, the story ends, that they became friends. And these white supremacists were leaving the white supremacy organization because they could not reconcile their belief with the truth. So that's how kindness works. We could have been anyone. We could have been in any religion. We could have been in any country. We could have been any race. And the reason why we are where we are and who we are has a purpose. So I think the best way of demonstrating kindness is to finding your purpose and make sure you at least help one person to be different. That is why Business Athletes is focusing on changing the beliefs of people, helping people finding their potential. When you find your potential, you don't envy, you're not jealous, you don't compare, because you find your unique difference. Then you don't have to fight. You can be kind. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind speech. I would like to ask one question. If a person who is very tensed and he couldn't be able to be kind to someone, as you said, you first need to be kind to yourself. So some people, when we take the meditation, they will tell, just go and have a relax first, or just be alone and think what you can do to yourself and to the next person. In your experience, what is the simplest medicine that you can prescribe to them to kind to their self, that means to ourselves, please?
Adi, you touched it, you said, go meditate. I said there are two persons in us, my person one, person two. Right? The conflict is between that person and the person of the Manasachi. So you need to be talking. So that is why there is this concept called coaching. Now I do life coaching. So we talk to them to help them see their inside. If you can't on your own, talk to yourself. What made me say this? What made me do this? What is making me uncomfortable? What is making me angry? What is making me hate this person? Ask those questions. I'm not saying why. See the difference. I'm not saying why am I angry with person. No, I'm asking what is making me angry. That is diving in to find out the reason. If you ask why are you angry, you will justify. If you say what makes you angry, then you will question the reason as to what makes you angry. What made you shout at your child? Then you go and find out the reason. So the questions, even when you go into meditation, when you talk to yourself, the question should not be a why question. The question should be a what question. What made me shout at my child? What made me do what I did? What is making me uncomfortable? What is making me not liking this person? Then you find the reason. Then you begin to settle within yourself. You try to reconcile the belief and reality. The dispute, Tanushan, is because our belief and our realities are different. We can't reconcile. The moment you start talking that question, what makes me angry? What made me shout at my child? Then you see the real you. That's what I asked. What do you show up? How authentic are you when you're talking to somebody? How truthful are you when you're talking to somebody? So the fastest way of getting out of a situation, if you felt unkind towards somebody, to ask yourself, what made me do what I did? Then you will see where it is coming from. And you will see how painful it is for you to create pain for somebody else. We don't realize this. You have to lie to yourself before you lie to somebody else. You have to be unkind to your soul before you can be unkind to somebody else. And that pain will remain. And you carry that burden. It keeps coming back and you feel unsettled. You can't sleep. You see what I'm saying? So self-conversation, Tanushan. What questions, not why. What made me shout at my child is different to why did I shout at my child? The moment you ask a why question, even when you're having a conversation with your children or your spouse, it's always good to say, instead of asking, why do you come late? You can always say, what made you get late? You see, the kindness comes in the forming of the question. Did I give you an answer?
Yeah, it's a clear answer. First of all, we'd like to thank to God to give the permission to hold this conference in non-Tamil, that means in English media, with our respected speakers from who are coming from Sri Lanka plus India and worldwide, as well as our kind audience who are participating and getting the information from our speakers. And we are just asking a kind request from our audience. What actually, like, if you give us a kind with the love to our Facebook page 5counts.com, as well as YouTube page Tirai Nadi TV, then we can able to start small initiative for our contribution or the target, what is the benefit out of this conference is to help the people who are affected by the COVID all over the world in the area of living, food, and education. So in this, your kind is the most important, as well as we are looking forward or looking for the permission from our God, that means the common God who is very common to all the religions, to give us the permission to proceed or start the initial small steps of the help to give them a good life. Not only them, but we are trying to cover all over the world, but it's the very how to say, there are so much of barriers we need to pass it out, but we are trying our level best to make sure it happens. And this conference also, we are holding this conference with overtaking so many barriers which are coming in microseconds. So we are very much thank to God and our audience for your repeated and continuous love. And for our audience, it's a kind note to you. There's no need to pay anything for our conference in order to participate. It's all free, and our kind speakers are coming with the kind. So you can able to get the kindness and positive thinking, especially not only in Tamil but also in English, that is non-Tamil, and we are trying to get more good that means high level our guest speakers in our conference, with your kind, we'll be getting their speeches as well. So we are kind of requesting to make or use this or share it within your friends or out of your friends and ask them to get benefit out of this. And please continuously have a watch and support to this small step, because this very bariatric step we have taken, and we are moving forward for that. And you can realize when we start this small steps, so there's no need to tell that we are going to do this and that, so you will feel that, so that the God will give you the information on that. And we are very much thankful to our respected speaker, Bradley Emson, who is the business athlete, guest speaker, and the keynote speaker, to come up on board with the kindness to our conference. Thank you. And with this note, we'll be concluding our speaker's speech. Thank you. Nandri, vanakkam.